I am ready. Good. All right, well, good evening. Welcome to the May 14th Library Board meeting. Let's do roll call first. Robin.
Here.
Tony. Here. Tyler.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
Perfect. Well, welcome all. Oops. Looking at the agenda, we are looking for an approval of the order of the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor to approve the order of the agenda, say aye.
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 Motion passes. We don't have any public comment. So we're looking then to approve the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes from April and then our financial reports.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Consent agenda passes. We will now move on to new business. And I think Jenna is ready to go to really work through our 25 annual report.
Thank you so much. Following the presentation of our annual report, I will be looking for the board to accept the report and then instruct me to present this to the City Commission as well. The full draft, or the full annual report draft is included in the board packet as well. And this is just kind of an executive summary of some highlights from that. So at the West Fargo Public Library, service can kind of be broken down in about 6 different areas. Our collection and resources, the programs that we offer, our in-library technology, the humans that help our patrons, the public spaces that we offer, and then service beyond our walls. So to start with our collection and resources. We can kind of break this into 2 separate areas, our physical items and then our digital items. In total, this is over 220,000 things that our patrons have access to. So this is both in the library, if you walk into one of our 2 locations, the main library or the satellite library here at City Hall, or if you access library materials through one of your devices, be that a home computer, your phone, or a tablet, to access some of our digital items. Or, of course, if you are homebound or one of our seniors that gets services delivered to you through our Library on Wheels. Or even daycare delivery, I guess, that as well. Item checkouts. Our total checkouts in 2025 was over 242,000, getting close to 243,000 items. This was over a 50% increase in the last 5 years. What's really surprising, I think, is, or maybe not surprising, is the increase in electronic use, which is 113% up in the last 5 years. I know in my family, certainly we're using a lot of ebooks and e-audiobooks. Maybe some of you are seeing that in your families as well. But certainly the physical items are not going away. When you look at the graph to the side, you'll see the checkouts of physical media makes up the bulk of our checkouts still. So even though the electronic circulation is going way up, the physical items still are the cornerstone of our circulation. It's really important that we keep our eye on the return on investment for West Fargo residents, and especially as decision makers for the board. And we're entering budget season when we take a look at the numbers and how we're spending those dollars. And so we want to look at our residents getting bang for their buck. I thought this was really fascinating. When our patrons come in and check items out, our system keeps track of how much money they saved by checking items out at the library versus if they would have purchased them at a retailer instead. And this is kind of like an averaged out cost. Some things might have cost more or perhaps a little bit less. So, but the average cost of a paperback, the average cost of a hardcover is kind of what that's totaling for you here. And so it was almost $4 million that residents saved by checking items out at the West Fargo Library. That is incredible. That's just one piece of the service that we offer at the West Fargo Public Library. And when you compare that to what our total operating budget was, I feel like that's an incredible return on investment right there. So per resident, if we were to average that out, that is $96, or per active library card, it was $208 saved. Move on to our programs. Starting with youth services, we talk about them a lot. It's always fun to talk about our children's programs. Story times were super popular, reaching a peak of 72 attendees at some of our story times last year. Our summer kickoff party had model trains and had over 600 attendees. As you can imagine, that does not fit well in our space, but it's something that West Fargo residents look forward to every year, and that's going to be coming up again very soon. We'll talk about that in the director's report. Close to 14,000 participated in youth programs last year, and we had 5,706 participants in just our early literacy programs alone. The investment in our youngest readers really pays off in spades in building brains, in building good readers and learners when we want to talk about like workforce development, in growing responsible citizens, in growing like engaged residents. Any dollar that we invest in our youngest residents comes back 6 to 12-fold, depending on the study that you look at. And so I think it's really wonderful that West Fargo residents are attending those early literacy programs so heavily. Almost 2,000 participants in our teen programs in 2025. Teens are notoriously really hard to engage, and so I feel like that's a really phenomenal number as well. So kudos to our youth services team for all of their hard work last year. Adult services also did really, really well. They saw an 18% increase in program participation from 2024. Most of that can be attributed to a lot of the reoccurring programs. They spent a lot of time looking at what programs had the most engagement, the most consistent attendance, and they really found that residents liked the programs that they could count on having that regular weekly or monthly scheduled time. And so I think that's reflected in their statistics, and we saw that in that increase in program participation. You've heard us talk about the movies in particular, and moving to the space here at City Hall. I expect us to see an increase as well next year, but we'll see when those numbers come out. In library technology, one of the things that we track for the state and also to participate in like national data collection as well is computer sessions. So how many times people log in to use a public computer. In one of our 2 libraries, we had 5,617 total public computer sessions. And we also try to collect the number of Wi-Fi sessions as well. Having access to Wi-Fi is incredibly important. As you can see, it's very heavily used. 18,557 Wi-Fi sessions. We see a lot of students and professionals coming to the library on a daily, weekly, monthly basis for meetings, to attend classes, for job interviews. People are using our Wi-Fi to attend therapy for a really wide variety of purposes. And having that reliable connection is incredibly important to residents. Helpful humans. This is one of the harder things to track, but I wanted to put it in here. This is a number that we haven't reported in the past, but I think is one of the more critical elements of the service that we provide at the library. The interactions, the questions that we answer for everyday people that walk in and ask a question at the library. Of course, there are a million questions about how to use different library services, but we don't keep a tally of those. Like, how do I print something? How do I use Libby? How do I look up my family on a genealogy database? That's not what we're counting here. A couple times a year, we keep track of actual reference questions. These are questions that require research or somebody's asking us how to use a piece of technology that requires like some one-on-one assistance, but it's not like, how do I use a library service kind of a question. And so when we're doing those tallies, if we extrapolate that number out, we know that we're answering over 5,600 true reference questions a year at the library. And we're not using AI to just populate an answer. Answering those questions takes training, takes experience. So thanks to our professional staff for doing that.
Question. Jenna, quick question for you. Do you see trends across the state or across the country where those types of reference services are being taken care of by artificial intelligence? Are you seeing that? Is that are they adequately able to provide that? Or are you just seeing it at all? Is it a thing that's happening?
It is kind of a hot topic right now. The Public Library Association conference that we went to, there was tons of sessions about the use of AI, when it's appropriate, when it's not. Librarians will tell you that AI and the answers that it's spitting out, we consider that they're not reliable necessarily. And so in some cases, in a few cases, it might be acceptable to use like an AI tool to jumpstart a search, but then it's really important to go back and check and use those reference skills that we have to verify, is this information accurate? and to help the patron that you're working with understand how to do that as well. And so, so that they're not led astray
Yeah,
by inaccurate information online as well.
for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you.
So there's a lot of professional ethics involved there. Public spaces. A major service that the library provides is actually just being a third space that the public has access to as well. 70,880 visits to the library. We track this by using a door counter at both of our sites. And this counts people coming and going, so we can check those numbers. It's interesting to see those traffic flow patterns during the week. What our busier times are, what our slower times are, and that helps us make some decisions. We used that earlier this year when we changed our hours at the satellite to offer some evening hours on Mondays instead of a slower time. Speaking of the satellite, here's a few pictures of our satellite library here at City Hall. Things have been going really well here. It's been very smooth, opening that up and moving materials back and forth. People have loved picking up their holds here and just having access further south in the city. This year, we also did a major carpet replacement project in our main library. On the right there, you can see the older carpet with the big circles on it and the dust motes on the left there as well. On the left is a little bit mid-process, but here's our new carpet. It actually looks bigger now that we don't have such a busy pattern on the floor. One patron commented to us that they can visit the library more often now because the old carpet used to give them migraines because the pattern was so busy. And so they were really thankful that we did that. Another part of the spaces that we offer is our meeting rooms. Our meeting rooms are exceptionally popular. The number of hours reserved continues just to increase and increase and increase. At some point, we are going to hit the end here. There's only so many hours that we're open. We had 813 reserved hours in 2025. And of course, we do offer service beyond our walls as well. For our outreach deliveries, we had 2,178 books delivered to senior homes and daycares. We went to 7 daycares and 5 senior living facilities. Adult Services is currently exploring expanding to a few additional sites. As far as summer outreach, we did 27 pop-ups at West Fargo Parks, 7 pop-ups at West Fargo Schools, 1,740 books were checked out at those pop-ups, and 746 visitors stopped at those pop-ups. And of course, there are tons more statistics and things for you to look at in the annual report as well. Were there any questions from the board?
So is this just the presentation? Because then
Yeah.
it's not what's posted on our agenda.
Right.
Okay.
This was just kind of a summary
Okay,
of
I
a
was
few
just
of the
like-
highlights.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
The full report has a lot more
does,
into,
yes.
information, yes.
Okay. And so you will be bringing the annual report that's posted to the commission?
Yeah, the annual report that's posted will be submitted to the commission, and then I will probably give more of a summary as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think with this, are there any other questions for Jenna? I do think we have two separate action items. One is to approve the annual report, yes? And the second one is to direct you to submit it to the commission. So I do think we should do those separately.
Well, I would move to approve the director's report.
Annual report.
The annual report.
The annual report.
Okay, I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Any additional questions around the annual report and approving it? Okay, so since we have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? All right, that motion passes. We will look for then a motion to direct Jenna to submit it to the commission.
So moved.
No, we need a motion first. Yeah? Can you say it out loud?
Sure. Move to have Jenna submit the 2025 annual report to the commission.
Perfect. We have a motion.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any additional comments or questions? All right, motion and seconds on the table. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? That motion passes. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you, board.
Perfect. Next on our agenda, we do have the budget, preliminary budget for review. And then this also is an action item for the board.
Yes.
Jenna, before you begin, if I may, is this submitted in conjunction with the annual report? No, this is just something you present independently of the annual report.
This is separate, yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, board, before you is a draft of our preliminary budget. Our preliminary budget is our stake in the sand. Once you approve our preliminary budget, we can only go down from that total number. We can still adjust numbers in any of the lines, but that total number can only go down. Today, what we are looking to do is, I'm requesting that the board either approve sending a draft of the preliminary budget to the city so that they can continue their work on their budget and have something to work with as they prepare something to present to commission. Or if you feel comfortable with this, to approve this as our preliminary budget and put that flag, plant that flag. And then we would submit this as our preliminary budget then to the city.
This was put together by you and staff?
This was put together, yep, in collaboration, me and the manager team, as well as with input from department heads in the city on several of the budget lines. What's highlighted in blue here came from the finance department. And there are a couple other lines that came from other departments. For example, the cost allocations line is that's this one here. This pays for our custodial services at the library. And so that number's given to me from Public Works because they hire those staff members. And you can see that went up kind of substantially. Would you like me to kind of walk through line by line here for you? Or if there were specific questions? I know you haven't had a ton of time to look this over.
Is the biggest increase insurance then? Is that what I'm seeing?
Insurance did have a really significant increase. The increase that you're seeing there's an assumed 10% increase kind of across the board for everybody in the city.
Sure.
And then we did have some staff turnover, so some of our new staff might have different elections.
Sure.
As compared to prior staff that we had. We do also have one full-time role that is open. They'll be starting soon, in June. And so we have a family plan earmarked for that person because we don't know what their
Sure.
selections are going to be. So very likely that number will come down,
Okay.
but we just have it.
Yep. And then I think that does transition. So do we anticipate any additional staffing changes? I mean, and I know 100% you can't say yay or
Yeah,
nay.
not
right?
at the moment.
Yes, okay. Yep. Direction from the board, do you want Jenna to go line by line, or are there specific questions you have? Those are my specific questions, and I know we can't adjust or change insurance, so I just wanted to make sure where we were at with that one.
I had that same question. I don't know. I don't need Jenna to go line by line. I think the one observation I did have though was looking at the total change for the staff, for the salaries and the insurance and all the benefits and everything. That I think equated to about $162,000 increase, and we're increasing the budget by 142, rounding up on this. So with things as they shift, especially around that 3% cap, there's going to be a shift more towards the salaries, and we're gonna have to watch that more than, what we're putting money towards actually providing books and things like that for the community. So that's just a comment I had that
Sure.
for whoever's watching out there would be, just keep that in mind as we are discussing taxes and budgets and things like that, because it's gonna get harder as things go on with it, but.
Good, thank you, Robin. I would concur, I don't need line by line, but if other board members have questions around specific line items, I think now is the time to ask. Go ahead.
Jenna, colors. Can you explain the colors? The blue, I know you mentioned the blue. But what is the blue, and then what are the reds? What are the do not uses?
Yep, sure. So, this blue section, that's kind of controlled by formulas, that's populated by the finance department coming from a staffing spreadsheet.
Kind of like just an expected, what the rate is gonna be, what the increase is gonna be, therefore they just added 10% or a certain percentage and it increased automatically.
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
or a placeholder until they figure out, okay, what is the actual increase for health insurance or for COLA when the commission
Yeah.
approves COLA?
Gotcha. Okay.
And these numbers are assuming a 3% COLA at this point as well.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yep.
And I looked at it, so the benefits, or the salary line is 32%, and so is the health insurance. They're both 32% increase from the previous year, relative to the previous year.
Only the health insurance is,
Only
sir.
the health?
Yeah.
What
If you look
is-
at the salaries, the year-over-year budget is only about 6%. It's 81,000 over the 1.3 million.
Oh, you're right. What did I, maybe there was something.
You might have
else.
been looking at the year-to-date budget
Maybe.
or something that's there, but.
Okay, 80, okay, so 32% increase though for health premiums.
Yep.
Pretty significant.
Well, she's assuming the open position would select
Yeah,
family,
but-
family
yeah.
option, which
Right,
is
the
quite a
family
bit more
options.
than what, so assume the most expensive and have some favorable return.
Totally. And then have wiggle room, have some
Yes,
space.
yeah, because it's not gonna go up beyond that, so.
Okay,
So we do expect that number to come down.
gotcha,
How much, we don't know.
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reds and the do not uses.
Yes. The finance department has been working on a project to decrease the number of object codes that are used across the city. So some of these that are in red over here are part of that project. So if the library had any codes that just we were using or that were redundant or, anyway, if there were multiple codes being used for sort of the same thing, we're just kind of consolidating codes, really is what you're seeing there. So, like unemployment is being accounted for in another line. We don't need to be budgeting that $500 there. It's being budgeted for somewhere else. Building rental is now somewhere else. What is that one?
389 lease rental.
Yep. Yeah, so there's, as you can see, there's just a fair number of these. So we're just trying to get in line and be consistent with what the city is.
Gotcha,
Doing.
okay, understood.
Yep.
Thank you.
And so in the notes and comments, we've tried to make a little note, like printing, we've moved to 602 marketing, so that we know, hey, we're still budgeting that money, we just moved it to a different line.
Gotcha.
Another change that we are making that's maybe a little bit more significant to the library specifically is you'll see several of these that say combined to 66.2. So that would be magazines, audio, and audio-video are being combined into the same line as books. So we're just kind of moving all of our physical collection into one line together. Magazines was only $5,000 roughly anyway, and so it didn't really make sense for it to kind of have its own line. And we're keeping track of how much is being spent on these individual things, kind of on the back end in our own system anyway. And so it didn't need separate lines for the city. We're keeping track of that in our collection system. So that way we can help the city eliminate 2 object codes anyway.
Jenna, on the cost allocations that you talked about related to the Public Works,
Yep.
is that a noticeable $10,000, $11,000, $10,100? Is that significant? Is that surprising, seeing that? Or is that a consolidation effort from other things?
That's a pretty big increase. Public Works hired 2 additional custodians last year
Gotcha.
to cover more space. They're just cleaning more spaces. And traditionally, the library has paid a percentage of the salaries of however many custodians they are hiring.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of what you're seeing there. One idea that we've been tossing around at the library is we could see about contracting out our custodial services for the library to see if we could do it less expensively.
And the library board has the discretion to do that if we wanted to.
Yeah. We have contracted it out in the past.
Is it daily maintenance, daily?
It's vacuuming, emptying garbages, that kind of thing.
Well, janitorial services, I don't know a lot about it, but that seems pretty, well, I guess the 63 is for the year. Yeah, I'm familiar with notices of interest or notices, just to get a feel in the market, that you can put out there. I'm trying to think what that is. Does that sound familiar?
We would go for bids.
For bid.
Or quotes.
It's
And
a-
we did this 2 years ago as well.
It's actually called an RFI, a request for information, to just get a feel in the market before you actually put it out to bid. Is that something that you've ever done? That's what we do at the state anyways.
Yeah, we went out, we got quotes 2 years ago, and we took our lead from Public Works and followed the same process that they do. And we just made sure that we had enough vendors. And so that we were getting like competitive quotes and enough, so that it made sense. Yeah, so I think we could do that again and see if that was a number that we could bring down that way. Also, I mean, part of that number might be reflective of, I'm sure that number also includes, health insurance and benefits numbers and things like that as well. It's not just a salary. And so, does that number change a little bit too? I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. Is it exclusively janitorial services, or is there any, like?
No, that's
oil
all that's in
change
there.
the bus? Okay. Okay, well, just good information to know. Good information to know. And you can obviously, in the next month, if you wanted to, you could go out to RFP and you could bid the services and see, and then you could push that when you put the second preliminary budget or the revised budget, you could put that in there if you wanted to.
Unless we approve a preliminary budget tonight, it
Right.
would have to be lower than that. If it were to be there. So if she were to go out and,
We would just need
Figure it
it
out.
done before our final budget,
right,
Yeah,
which would be October.
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you have other questions?
I'm good on questions,
Okay.
thank you.
So in terms of action, Jenna, we need just the approval of the preliminary budget and to send it to commission?
I think first you guys need to decide amongst
Okay.
yourselves, do you want to approve it as a preliminary budget or send a draft? Kind of feel that out. And then your motion to do whichever one of those.
For the first part, do any of the members of the board have thoughts?
I'm all for drawing things. Let's draw the line in the sand right now.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Personally, I don't know why I would want to do a draft, Let's
Right.
just do it now. And, I mean, Jenna would have time to evaluate the custodian thing and work with Public Works on that as well. And if I would imagine if it's going to cost more, we wouldn't want to do anything. So,
right.
so I think there's not risk there, but that's my opinion. I'm
Okay.
one of 5.
Sure, yep. Other people's thoughts?
Sounds good.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Tyler, any more thoughts on that?
I think the lion's share of this is outside of our control and they'll
Yeah.
fluctuate over time, so,
Okay.
yeah. I'd
So,
move to approve.
okay, so I think we're looking at a motion, so a motion to approve this as the preliminary budget. Is that an appropriate motion? Okay,
Did we just get that?
I think Tyler just made that motion.
he
to
made the
approve it.
motion.
Yep.
So I'll
I
se-
restated it.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this as our preliminary budget. Are there any additional questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? All right, that motion passes, and we'll need another motion for you to take it to the commission? Yes?
To submit it to the city.
Submit it to the city. So I will make a motion to submit our preliminary budget to the city and direct Jenna to do so.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other additional questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? That motion passes. Do we need any more action items on the budget? We're good for now.
Good for now.
Okay, thank you. And then I think our last piece of the agenda for today is our director's report.
Yeah. All right. Finances, we are about 25% expended, so we are looking great. And with the preliminary budget that we just approved, we will continue to look for anything that we can cut, any cost savings, grants we can apply for, different ways that we can trim that. So we'll be looking for that over the course of the next few months. Our satellite library, just a little highlight here. Physical circulation at the satellite, that would be the books and the movies and all of those physical items that go out the door, 642 items. About 360 people have been through the doors, and we made 10 library cards in April. At our main library, 12,351 items were circulated, physical items. 5,730 people were through the doors, and we made 192 library cards. Altogether, here's what that looks like. Our total circulation is 22,229 for April. For the electronic items, you can see that that makes up just a piece of that total circulation, but it continues to just skyrocket. 8,806 items. Our door count was back up in April with a record number of visits compared to the past Aprils. Little update on staffing for you. We have hired our youth librarian. They'll be starting in June, which is great because summer is starting and we need the help. And our summer interns have been hired as well. We'll be onboarding them the very end of May, and then they'll be like full steam starting in June as well for us. Our adult programs are chugging along as well. We've expanded our senior outreach to include 2 staff at each site. This has been really fun so that we can engage with the residents at those sites a little bit more. And technology tutoring is back in full swing as well and is being very heavily used. We did also add a new program that they are calling Golden Gatherings. That's on Tuesday mornings, once a month. We had one just this week on May 12th, and this is kind of a senior social hour. And so they set up coffee, and the adult services librarians are out there to answer questions, give book recommendations to folks, connect them up to different library services and programs, and just kind of provide a space for seniors to connect with each other and with library services and programs. Like I mentioned in the annual report, when I was kind of going through some of the highlights, our reoccurring programs tend to be really well attended. So this adult services team is working really hard at planning and preparing for the summer. And they have some exciting new things on the way, like silent reading parties in our local parks. For youth and family programs, our second grade tours wrapped up. We had 1,087 students come through in March and April, and it was really fun to see all of those kids in the library and to try to put the shelves back together when they left. It was fun to see what they checked out when they came. All those popular titles and series were always cleaned out. So Storytime numbers are continuing to rise. Our March Madness Reading Challenge ended in April, and we had 252 participants. This team is hard at work planning and preparing for summer. Most of the planning is really done, but they're getting everything set up and prepped. The Reading Challenge registration is open now on Beanstack, and it will be starting June 1st. We're really excited this summer that the Library on Wheels is going to be visiting 9 parks, and weekly youth programs and story time will start on June 1st. That annual summer kickoff party that I mentioned earlier is going to be on May 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. There'll be snacks, games, the model trains will be set up. That's always a big hit. And there will be dinosaurs this year. I am very excited about that. Dinosaurs are always fun. So yes, please sign up for that summer reading challenge that starts on June 1st for yourselves, for your families. You can find that on Beanstack if you don't have the app on your phone. I highly recommend that. Or you can sign up in the library as well. Here's a little graphic to kind of show where the Library on Wheels is going to be this summer. We are trying to be all over West Fargo. So a few parks are going to have a little bit more of a regular schedule, and then we wanted to make sure we hit as many parks as possible at least once. So that's why you'll see us at a few just once or twice. And this will be shared on our website and social media and several other places as well. Any questions from the board?
Any questions?
All right.
As usual, the information looked great. Thank you, Jenna, for presenting all that great information. We have now come to the end of our, oh, sorry. Do we have the month? No, we don't do the monthly impact. Yeah. All right, we've come to the end of our agenda. I'd make a motion to close out our meeting.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Sarah. Meeting adjourned.